Hey everybody, welcome back to Barbecue by Biggs. I'm Aaron and today we're doing teriyaki beef jerky. We found some eye of round at Costco. We cut it up into the strips. We're putting it in marinade. We'll marinate it overnight. Then we'll get it on the Yoder at 170 degrees on B&B pellets, hickory, post oak mixed. Man, we'll put some smoke on this thing for 3 to 4 hours. Then we'll see how they come out. If you want to see some awesome jerky, you guys stay tuned. All right, welcome back. We got the Yoder ready to go at 170 degrees. We have the jerky sitting here, dried out, ready to go on to the Yoder. But first, let me rewind you and take you back to yesterday to how we got these together. So we're starting with a 6-pound beef eye of round roast. We picked it up at Costco, and what we're going to do is we're going to trim the fat off of it. The thing about beef jerky is the leaner the meat, the better. So you want to try to get as much of the fat off of your roast or brisket or whatever it is you're making jerky out of. You want to get as much fat off of there because the fat is what actually goes bad. So it'll end up spoiling way before the beef jerky does. So you want to make sure that you do a good trim on whatever beef that you're using. This eye of round works fairly good because all it has really is this little bit of fat towards the top of it. So just take a fillet knife or a sharp boning knife or whatever it is and just fillet this fat right off the top. If you have a little bit left, that's okay. You just want to take a majority of it off. So this type of roast is pretty thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this roast and we're going to trim it to where it's in edible pieces. I mean, you could cut this across and make big ones, but we're just going to cut it down through it and just kind of cut it in half on this one. The other one is a little bit thicker, so we'll probably cut it in 3s, but we're just going to take this and just cut it straight across in half to where both sides are about the even amount of width. As you can see here, it gives it a more manageable piece when you cut it up into strips. So when we cut it, we're going to cut it across the grain like I'm showing here. So the grain runs long ways, as you can see. We're just going to cut it across the grain. What that'll do for us, we prefer a more pull away bite. Now if you prefer a real stringy jerky, then cut it with the grain. But I would advise, if you like it to where you can chew it up and it kind of melts in your mouth as you eat it, you want to cut it across the grain. So we're cutting these in about 1/4 inch pieces, as you can see here. About 1/4 inch. If you like a real hard jerky, maybe a little thinner. If you like a more chewy jerky, maybe a little thicker. So we got both of these roasts trimmed up. Now we're going to get ready to make the marinade. Now the marinade is a very simple mixture of things that you normally have in the cupboard. So we took a cup of soy sauce. That's going to be our base. We're adding 1/3 cup of honey teriyaki. KC Masterpiece, you can pick it up at any grocery store out there, or even you can pick it up at Amazon. So that 1/3 cup of teriyaki sauce goes in, and then we're going to go to 1/8 cup of onion powder, and then we're going to do 1/8 cup of granulated garlic. Not garlic salt, because there's plenty of salt in the soy sauce, but the granulated garlic, 1/8 cup of that. We're going to mix that together, and then we're just going to add just a couple of bumps of black pepper. Now this is coarse ground black pepper or restaurant style, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to put a couple of bumps in there just to give it a little bit of that flavor. Now this is the time that if you have anything else that you want to add in, like pepper flake or anything hot, cayenne, if you like a hot, this is the time to put that in there. Then we're going to take our strips that we cut up earlier, and then we're just going to add them in, kind of massaging that marinade into them as we go. So we'll get them all in, get them all mixed up, and then what we'll do is we'll put them into Ziploc bags, and then they'll go into the refrigerator overnight. So once you get them mixed up, just load them into Ziploc bags. Like I said before, this was 6 pounds worth, so we did 2 Ziploc bags. By the time you're done, you don't have a whole lot of mixture there, and that's okay, because you'll see after we let it sit for 24 hours, the next step is making sure that we get it very, very dry. So it's been 24 hours. We're gonna lay it out on paper towels, and then what we're gonna do is squash the juice out of those pieces that we've laid out. So we'll get these all laid out, and then we'll just take paper towel over the top of them here. And then once the paper towel's laid out, then you'll just press down. And what you're trying to do is take as much moisture out of this as you can, because basically what you're doing when you're making jerky is that you're drying that meat out. So if you don't dry this out like this, then the time that it takes to cook it is going to be a lot longer. We'll take these, we'll lay them out with some space in between them on these cooling racks. We use these cooling racks all the time. There's a link in the description below if you're interested, but you just leave a little bit of room in between them. That way that smoke has good coverage throughout. We'll get them arranged on these cooling racks, get them laid out on the counter, let them sit here for an hour or so, and then we'll get them out to the pit to get them smoking.
All right, let's get them on there. So we're gonna put 2 of the racks up top. We'll put 2 of the racks up top. We'll put 2 of the racks down bottom. And then what we'll do in a couple of hours, we'll come and we'll rotate them. Inherently, over on this side of the Yoder, towards the exhaust, it is a little bit hotter, both on the bottom and the top. So what we'll do is we'll just come back and rotate them around when we get 2 hours in on them. So we'll get them loaded on here and put them to bed for a couple of hours. Then we'll come back, we'll flip them. We'll come back, we'll rotate them, and then we'll flip them all just to make sure they all get a good dose of that smoke. So what we're looking for is for when you bend them, they'll break. If you bend them like this, bend them like that, and they won't break, they're not ready. You want it to be dry throughout. That way they're cured. So we're gonna put these on. See you guys in about 2 hours. We'll bring you back. All right, we're about 2 hours in. It's time to rotate them. So we're just gonna take these, flip them over. And then we're gonna rotate them just like this. So we'll get those flipped over and then we'll rotate them. All right, so this is the hottest over on this side. So we're just gonna take this, move it to the coolest, take the coolest, move it down to the hot, kind of just like you do a car. All right, we'll check it back in about an hour. Bring you guys back. So we're about 3.5 hours in on the beef jerky. We're gonna look in to see how it's doing. Still running along about 170 degrees. Oh yeah, it's starting to dry out. Let me get you in and let you look at it. You see the moisture's coming out of it. Really see it down there. We're gonna rotate them again. I don't think we need to flip them. Let's see. No, they look about the same on each side. So what we're looking for is to be able to do that and it breaks. If it doesn't break, see how it's still sticking together? It's still not ready. So we're looking for it to do that and then break apart. When it breaks apart, it'll be dry enough. So we'll get it back on until it is dry enough, and we'll bring you guys back when it is. Probably about another 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little longer, but some of them are getting close, but most of them are not. So we'll bring you guys back. All right, so finally after 6 hours, we got the jerky done. We're gonna give it a taste test, but what I wanted to point out to you guys was, like I was saying before, let me bring it up to you. Like we were telling you, these things are done when they break apart very easily when you do that. So you don't want it to splinter all the way apart, but when you do that, it does that. That's when they're done. And then you just take them and then they just pull apart very, very easily. So that's what you're looking for there. So we'll give these things a taste. Listen. Oh my goodness, you can taste the saltiness of the soy sauce. Man, that's good. You just have to give it a try. It's really easy. It takes a long time, but it's really easy to do. Just remember, cook them till they break apart. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See y'all next time.